rise and face the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The school board will convene to closed session tonight to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee or government employees in jurisdiction or exercises responsibility under Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1 and parent C. Do we have any community comments? Does anyone wish any items removed from the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
One second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We'll move to administrative reports. Mrs. Markgraf's report is moved to next month. So we won't have that, but we'll go to Mr. Hiltz.
Thank you very much. Just want to hit a couple of highlights. The first one, really excited about reading challenge that we're running right now. We've divided the school into 2 teams, and for every 20 minutes that a student reads, that equals 1 mile. And so we're having the 2 teams see how far they can get. After 1 week, one team was able to get just past Indianapolis, and the other team was able to get between Indianapolis and Dayton, Ohio. So we'll continue doing that for the next 6 weeks and see how far we get, which team wins. There'll be cookies at the end for whichever team finishes further. But it's just a nice way for the kids to emphasize reading, have a little competition, see geography as well with that. So the only other thing to bring up is just to mention, once again, another kudos to staff and students for what they've been able to accomplish. Wisconsin Reads, an organization that focuses on making sure that all kids are able to read by 3rd grade, reached out to us, and I was very impressed with the scores that we have, especially when you take into account the free and reduced and other populations as a part of that data. We are one of the top districts in the state, so they really are impressed with what we've been able to accomplish.
Mr. Schaefer?
Okay, I have a couple of things. One of them not on the agenda item, because I was waiting for the results, but we had our yesterday our Door County math meet for our middle school. We had 4 teams represented from our middle school, and the math team out of 14 teams, Sevastopol took 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of all the teams. So that's pretty awesome. In the individual awards, we had in the top 15, 12 of our students were in the top 15, and actually the top 7 students were all from Sevastopol. We did have a 7th grader score a perfect score on the test, so that's really awesome. And out of the top 30, 24 of the students were from Sevastopol. So a huge congratulations. This is their 10th consecutive Door County Math Championship. So a big thank you to Tim Newton for all of his work with the students, and of course our math elites who are doing amazing things. It's a lot to be proud of, and just a great accomplishment. On my principal report, I just wanted to acknowledge this year's valedictorian and salutatorian. First of all, Eve Andre is our valedictorian. She is the true embodiment of academic excellence, and through her unwavering dedication, exceptional intellect, and relentless pursuit of knowledge, she has earned the highest honor in her class. Outside and beyond the classroom, she has contributed meaningfully to our community. She is an incredible human being and is an awesome representative for Sevastopol as the valedictorian. Naomi Ricola is our salutatorian. Once again, has displayed unparalleled dedication and perseverance throughout her high school journey. She's not just a great basketball player and a softball player and a runner, she's an exceptional student, and most importantly, has a strong sense of responsibility and has really excelled academically, athletically, and as a person. One of the best people I've ever come to know. So both young ladies are tremendous representations of Sevastopol, and we couldn't be prouder. One other thing that's not on my report, so I'm sorry, but they just all recently happened, and just wanted to take a moment. Yesterday we had our testing day. We had our pre-ACT, ACT middle school started their forward exams. Just a huge shout out to Mrs. Margraf, who's not here, and Mrs. Melkor for their unwavering dedication, commitment, and excellence in setting everything up. We had a few hitches, a little bit with some electronics and some little minor things, but the day went really well. And then our incentives for freshmen and sophomores was a really fun and exciting and a good way to spend some time. So I was able to take 45 students to the bowling alley, and that was an interesting and yet very fun experience. So all good things, and just really proud of everybody who was involved and all the teachers. I almost forgot, but the staff who did 4 weeks of ACT boot camp and helping prepare our high school students. We have typically done Saturday morning or Saturday boot camps, 3-hour boot camps. This year we did it where it was a 4-week boot camp where our juniors rotated amongst English and math and science to get the preparation and just a lot of just study skills and test taking preparation on how to be successful. So a big thank you to the staff that was a part of that as well.
Question: How do you recognize the math team for this? Because this was an athletic team, and they went and they took first, second, third, fourth, and fifth places in some tournament. There'd be balloons in the hallway, there'd be parades and celebrations of the sports. The math, that's awesome. And so how does the school recognize it? That to me is personally that's more important than the athletic program. Taking first, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Well, one of the things they do, Jerry, is at the end of the year, the math team goes to a Burr game towards the end of the year as part of and well, they do math there too as part of it. That's a requirement.
First, second,
But yeah, so but a good point, and they definitely deserve to be celebrated.
I'm talking about internally. How do you celebrate?
I don't have anything right off the top of my head because it just happened.
Pictures in the polls.
But it was.
You proved my point.
It'll be on our Facebook page. It'll probably be in the Spring Pioneer Times newsletter.
In the old poker I am.
It's I don't want to diminish it in any way because it is really impressive what they've done, but it's middle school. It doesn't. For some reason, athletic accomplishments don't create the excitement.
Middle school athletics don't
that
get
athletics
balloons in
do.
the hallway and stuff like that. I don't. Your first comment
It reflects on the-
isn't fair, truly fairly assessment. There's a lot of athletes that roll in after
It reflects
performance.
equally on the fact. Because those kids didn't get that way this time.
But they'll be in the news a bit for that. And they'll be highlighted in the Pioneer Times, which goes to everybody in our district. There's always a nice picture of them, and people say, oh, again, because they're doing so great. Superintendent's report?
Just a quick update, as we started the process with our job descriptions, we have the administrative team job descriptions done, and a huge shout out to our certified staff who worked and provided job descriptions for our teachers, our elective teachers, and then moving into the spring, when we come back from spring break, we'll work on our support staff. So job descriptions are almost complete. There's some formatting that needs to happen, but the content is there, which is awesome, and gives us a common template in our K-12 educational field. So huge shout out to staff who helped get that work done. Another piece coming up that we've been working on is our budget and looking for a balanced budget for the next 4 years and dealing with compensation and choice and option. So marking your calendars for the April, I'm going to get the date wrong, 2nd?
Yeah,
When
it's April
Yeah,
2nd.
because April 1st is Tuesday, April 2nd. We have a finance committee meeting where we will be sharing out with you budget proposal and then options that we can provide for compensation and benefits. So that's really been what we've been working on the last month and a half. And we finally received our insurance piece moving forward. So our renewal is coming in at exactly what they said it would come in at, 18.9% increase on our health insurance, a 2% increase on our dental insurance. So those will be the conversations that we have in that first meeting in April to decide how we want to move forward with options for compensation.
And a reminder, Finance Committee is the board as a whole. It's not a broken out committee. I don't have anything. Athletic Committee met February 26th. Anything to report there?
That basically just discussed the summer sports schedules and also the proposal that WIA is going to be voting on in April about removing student contact with athletes and coaches, student contact from 5 days to removing it completely. So we thought we'd go along with the WIA's proposal for the first year.
I think that's on our,
We'll be discussing that later.
is that on our agenda? No, it's not.
Because it's not, they don't know what on the totals.
It was in your board memo.
Yeah, so then we'll be, we thought we'd just go ahead with it for the first year and then see if we need to scale it back and schedule in conflicts or anything for next year.
Well, I think if it's a WIA, if it's a WIA, all schools are going to do it. I can see where maybe some wanted to scale it back because some coaches will have practices all the time and kids feel they need to be at those practices to the exemption of sometimes family things, but if it's the WIA, you almost have to follow them because all the schools are going to be the same.
And you're not going to know what kind of conflicts are going to come until
Right.
it's implemented. And then you just adjust from there.
We have a minimum one?
Used to be 5.
No, not a minimum.
Now there is.
That's max.
Oh, yeah, there's no.
Just max. There were restrictions on how many. There is not a guidance on
Max is
minimum.
5.
Now there's no.
So coaches could do nothing.
Now they can use my easy one.
If it passes in April, the WIA takes a vote in April.
Building and Grounds Committee, that's March 12th.
We met and we're working on long-range budget plans, setting priorities all the way to 2029. In the interest of the 4-year referendum that we're under and how things are going to fit into that budget, the referendum. We did meet with Dark County technology people out at the Ecological Reserve as to location of the tower, inside tower. And we have a tentative site on Pond Road going back to the sewage ponds. And, we took everything into consideration, even though it's 250 feet tall, for the residents that is located there, you probably know where it is, on down the road. Yeah. There's going to be sufficient trees, vegetation for eye level, probably 30, 40 feet, something like that. So they'll come out and they'll survey it, and we, bring to the board for approval for the site, but, annually we can affirm that, so, moving ahead with that.
That's it, Building and Grounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
I maybe should have done this during my present report, but I will note this because Dick mentioned the April lab. I don't know if anybody got out there when we had snow, but the trails were so beautifully beautifully groomed, and Mr. Wyden does that on a volunteer basis, so thank you very
I
much.
got to ski on at least 3-4 times.
Yeah, not a lot, but it was great.
Take pictures.
Yeah, I did. You want to see it?
It was picture perfect. Anything on the budget report? No? Okay. Facilities report? Nothing? Okay. Then we have this second reading of many policies. For purposes of the camera, we had these last month. The board was able to look at them, understand them, ask any questions, suggest any changes. And now we have a second reading of them, so I'll take a motion on those.
I would move to approve the second reading of the policies as listed.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Then we have the high school math proposal, which comes back to us from last month.
Okay.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Berry. To the group over there, and Ms. Berry, I didn't know if you wanted it. I'll give it to you. You got your papers up there, but I did give a schedule of our 3 students next year will be juniors who are not taking math because they are doing other classwork. But I did look into a few things, and on this new proposal that I had shared with you, I shared our 2 teachers because we're only a department of 2, so it's really hard to compare us to other schools that have larger departments. We have 2 departments, and you can see their schedules. The little numbers next to them to each class is how many students will be in each classroom. But really the only opening that we have for any outside math is in Ms. Wagner's schedule, where we are looking, instead of having NWTC math reasoning be a full year, doing that a semester and pairing that with probability and statistics. So a student after geometry would be able to take that as their 3rd year in high school with math. So once again, when you look at the other schools, Sturgeon Bay, Gibraltar, Kewanee, none of those schools give their 8th grade students high school credit if they're taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade. I did not get a response from Southern Door, so I'm not quite sure. And just talking with other high schools around and what they do, I mean, everybody's different. I believe in our last meeting, there was a conversation that it was about 50-50 of schools require students to take 3 years of math once they're in high school. And I kind of feel my biggest argument in that is all in the back, why push for the 3 years of high school math. I don't need to read that to you, of course, but I also think about one of our enormous goals here at Sevastopol is to improve our growth numbers. And just like any skill, I think math is a skill that we need to keep applying and using. Otherwise, the old expression, use it until you lose it, or use it or you lose it. And their junior year is when our students take the highest stakes test of their whole schooling career in the ACT. So if students are not taking math at all in their junior year, and then they're obviously math is a big portion on the ACT. We want our students to be in the best position to be successful and have the opportunity to be prepared. So along with that and the arguments on the back about why push for 3 years of math, my proposal is that our students that take Algebra 1 in 8th grade would just be put on the advanced math track and then would take 3 years of math in high school.
What is Algebra Plus?
Algebra Plus is a intervention for algebra students, so struggling students. And that was what's really interesting is a lot of schools, Mr. Weidman, that I had talked to that are much bigger than we are, they offer a remedial math for like when 8th graders come as freshmen and they're struggling in math. And really what their remedial math is the whole year they focus on just the first semester of Algebra 1. So they'll go through a remedial, or what they call beginning algebra or pre-algebra, and then the next year the students would take Algebra 1 where they would get the whole year, and then they would end in geometry, so that would be their 3 years of math. Unfortunately, when you have a department of 2, you're limited in what you can offer. And so when you look at like Mrs. Liu's schedule, I mean, it's booked up with outside of geometry and Geometry Plus, which is also an intervention. I mean, pre-calc, calculus, those are higher math pathways.
So what is your recommendation, Troy?
So my recommendation is I believe that our students, when they take Algebra 1 in 8th grade, we shouldn't be giving them high school credit because those students can come into high school and take math their freshman and sophomore year, and technically they're done. And then, like I had mentioned, they're taking the ACT their junior year, and they have had no math that whole year, and now we're asking them to take the highest stakes test that they take, and they haven't had any math. And at least if they're taking, even if they're doing NWTC math, depending on their skill level, or they're doing, pre-calc, there is that constant application of previous math skills learned. And so by the time they take the state ACT test, they've been working mathematically all year.
So if a student took algebra in 8th grade, didn't get any credit, then he or she would take geometry as a freshman,
Yes, ma'am.
algebra 2 as a sophomore,
Yes, ma'am.
and pre-calc as a junior?
Oh, we take geometry.
So after Algebra 2, they would go into pre-calc. Now,
That's the only option.
Nope. So, well,
Probability statistics would be an option.
probability and statistics they could take for a semester. We're really trying to eliminate that. So the NWTC math reasoning is really more for our, when we have students who have struggled in Algebra 1 and struggled in geometry, we want a pathway for them to continue because they got to get their 3 years of math. And really what NWTC math reasoning is, if you really looked at the rigor level, it's like between an 8th and 9th grade. It really does a lot of review of the algebra skills.
So really, the only option then is pre-calc.
That would be it. That was it. If you are not in a teacher recommendation for NWTC math, they could do a semester of probability and statistics. One other thing, if they did that for a semester, we could maybe explore a semester online math, because we do that. If Sevastopol doesn't offer another a certain math class, we can maybe offer that as an alternative. I didn't put that on here, but
So Algebra 2 is primarily a trigonometry course? Where do they, if I can remember back, way back.
yeah.
Algebra 2
Yes,
is
I will do that.
I did.
So did I.
So a lot of schools do trigonometry separate from that, along with their Algebra 2.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Separate it out.
Yeah.
We don't.
We just aren't able to do that with what.
The trigonometry is something that is actually somewhat applicable and useful.
So Mr. Schaefer's recommendation is no credit for 8th grade algebra.
Yes.
But they still can take algebra as a freshman. That's one of their math credits. If
So
they don't
if-
take it in 8th grade.
If they don't take it in 8th grade, then yes, they start in Algebra 1.
Yeah, this is all just based off of if they take algebra.
And like I
They don't
said,
pick that in 8th grade, the teacher, they're put into algebra.
right, so
You have a
most
choice.
most schools I talk to, the students who are taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade, it is just to start tracking them, to be able to take higher math courses once they get to high school. I think of, a student that's graduated, he was one student, he was so advanced in math, he took Calc BC, and since I've been here, he's the only student to get offered Calc BC, which was a one-on-one independent study. So we want to keep those advanced pathways going for students who want to go that route. And of course, there's arguments about, what type of student really needs to take the advanced pathway. And I get that, but, people who are going to go into the STEM field, and I understand that. So I'm not arguing that at all. I understand. And I understand not every student is going into that pathway. But if you are in the advanced pathway, really what we're saying is if you're in the advanced pathway, and if we went with the proposal of no credit in 8th grade, then yes, those students would take pre-calc as their final year of math.
I think it will be important if we prove this, that students have a very clear understanding of the implications over the years. If they choose not to take algebra in 8th grade, then they're going to have a different path in high school.
They don't have a choice.
I don't think they
They
have a choice.
don't get a choice.
They
The-
don't what?
They don't have a choice in eighth grade.
Because-
Put in algebra if they're defined as being a
Why is there no choice in eighth grade?
Because the determination is based off of their math skill level and what they're producing and what's appropriate for, we want to appropriately challenge our students and give them the rigor that they're qualified to do, and other students who need more, instruction that meets their needs and fills gaps maybe where they're lacking, that we're offering that for students as well. And there's multiple data criteria that we use. It's just not one data point. So it's in the past it was our math test. Now that we're using our STAR diagnostic, we use STAR diagnostic. We use in-class performance and then teacher recommendation.
So we're looking for a motion.
I haven't heard Dave speaking, so I'm here.
No, I'm all right. I don't understand the choice, so I'm curious what you're going there. So if somebody wanted to take algebra in eighth grade, they wouldn't have a choice unless they've been selected. Is the class full, or, and what if they took it, and if they do bad, take it again freshman year? Then you have a little more of a base.
I guess it's one thing to recognize.
Purpose is education, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to
you're
get
kind
them to understand
Put in the
math
amount of
better.
fast track based on what you perceive their math competency to be.
Well, it's not just perception, there is data. I mean, there's performance data from the diagnostic, from in-class performance, and the only, I guess, perception is the teacher who works with them is making an accommodation based off of what they see in class and through the diagnostic. Would a student, are they going to be capable of taking Algebra 1? And I think the long history of this track and how many other schools use this as a track to kind of help get our students on an appropriate, rigorous path, especially here at Sevastopol, has been proven to be incredibly successful. We just have been giving them a credit. And we've never had in my research and what I found, we never had an issue where students did not want to take math their third year that we're on the advanced track. This is just something that is starting to resurface or to surface now.
So I'm okay with, coming around now, I'm okay with not giving credit. And be great. I agree, Sue, I think you had a good point, and I think we're going to find out, just like lots of things. I hope, and I think the school's going to have to find more math options, because as more kids are doing that. So your challenge that you've asked for now is make sure our kids have good options for math. As more and more kids are following this new path, more and more kids have to take math, so our 2 math teachers will have to make sure we can do that.
I
So if that's
agree.
what you want to do, I support that.
We need to look at it, and I think if this is approved, we need to have feedback on it, and feedback from the students is what I want to do.
What kind of feedback are you looking for?
How is this working for them? This pre-calc that they have to take, is this something that they're comfortable with, that they feel is beneficial to them?
Unfortunately, to answer that question with math, okay, I don't think you can answer that until you're about 3 or 4 years out of school. Because when you were taking math, it was a drudge. But then one day it dawns on you, and I go to your paragraph here that teaches you logic, and all of a sudden, and I used to, all of a sudden, when I think I was almost out of college, I used to say, well, you should have told us geometry was a logic class and a how to think class, not in a numbers class. Because there's some point in time in mathematics, that's where you learn the, add, subtract, all that, and go on. Then all of a sudden, as you get into a little higher math, it becomes a thinking class, a logic class, how to problem solve. So I think personally, I think the challenge for the school is if you're one of these kids that does well in algebra in grade school, to me, if you don't give them credit, that's punishment. If you do give them credit, then we need to have more options for more types of math that we don't have. I mean, I think we're really maybe having to hire more faculty or set up there's got to be a lot of online, really high-level, great programs, classes. Because math's very easy to be taught online.
I would add to what you're saying, and I think to Sue's point,
Yeah.
anything we do here, we should always monitor, and it can always change, right? And I think what will happen is allow families and kids, right? Because they'll look, and they may find more online options, right? Because since I've been here, there's different online options pop up just about every year. And in fact, we're going to approve some, I think, today, right? So that's where, as far as keep an eye on, because what I don't know, I'm a STEM guy, so I think it's all awesome, but I think calculus specifically, maybe there's another math that if they're not going into STEM, but they're going to take 3 math classes. I mean, like personal finance, there's a lot of math there, but that's not a math class, right? Maybe that should be, right? Because if someone can balance their checkbook and understand credit and interest, that's a wonderful logical skill that you're talking about, right? So
There's
that,
a short story happened the other day. I see this all the time. McDonald's, okay?
you've heard this.
And
Go ahead. Yes.
But this happened, I gave the guy 5 cents, 7 cents more, and he got total, and he had it on the machine, what he was supposed to give me as his change. And I said, you just add 7 cents to that. And then, you know, and like,
He wasn't in accelerated math.
That's 4th grade. Yeah, that should be 4th grade.
yeah.
So
He missed some.
we need obviously, whatever we decide needs to be monitored, maybe there need to be other options out there for kids, but we need the motion, credit, no credit.
Move to approve the high school math proposal where students who complete Algebra 1 in 8th grade will receive no credit in middle school.
Second.
A correction to that, no high school credit. They're taking it in middle school, they're not getting high school
Oh, it
credit.
does say in middle school, that was a miss.
Oh.
My fault, but it was supposed to be not receive high school credit. So you read how I wrote it.
Yeah, Kayla, you have that?
Yeah, I have that, thank
I
you.
think it's class in middle
Further
school.
questions or discussion?
No credit towards graduation.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried. Sue, did you have anything you need to talk about legislatively tonight?
Yes, I do have a little bit. I will be very brief because of the weather situation and everybody's safety is the most important thing. We are hearing on the federal level a lot about Medicaid cuts, and obviously that affects our students in the medical world and their services for healthcare. But I did check with Randy today, and she gave me a figure of what we get from the feds for Medicaid, $42,000 to our district. So yes, Medicaid is an important part of our budget. There will be a joint finance committee public hearing on the state budget at Tacoma High School on April 2nd. And the committee will be inviting people to come and testify at that public hearing. There also is an opportunity for online comments to the budget committee. So if you are so inclined, you can check the WASB website for all the specifics on that. There are some good things happening. One of them, on the sheet here, is there is a bill to allow rehiring of retired annuitants. And I think that can be critical in the time of our staff shortages.
Without penalty.
The retiree would not have to give up their retirement annuity. So that's something good coming out. And headed to the governor's desk is AB1 SB 18 relating to changes in the educational assessment program and the school and school district report card. So that's been something that's been talked about a great deal, but again, you can check the WASB
Are those
website.
the changes Everly wants to make?
Pardon me?
Are those the changes Everly wants to make?
She already paid
She
that.
made those, and is this,
To go back to
this
where.
is to go back?
Yes,
Okay.
to go back to where we were.
Thank you.
Previously and to align with the NAEP, the national test. A bill that has passed the Assembly relates to the prohibition of the wireless communication devices. And I think we talked about that before. Each district can come up with their own policy. There's another bill that's passed the Assembly related to incorporating cursive writing into the standards. And a bill relating to required instruction in civics in the elementary and high school grades. A bill relating to requiring school boards to make textbooks, curricula, and instructional materials available for inspection by residents. We already knew that. A bill relating to a school board to spend at least 70% of its operating expenditures on direct classroom expenditures, and annual pay increases for school administrators are limited in that to the average percentage range for everybody else. Then there's a bill relating to parental notification of alleged sexual misconduct by a school staff member, something we already do. And tribal regalia at graduation, I don't know if that's ever something we face, but it's there. Then on the Assembly floor calendar for March 20th is the designating athletic sports and teams operated by all schools in and it's based on sex of the participants, male, female thing, we've talked about that a lot. School board policies relating to changing a pupil's legal name and pronouns. Recently introduced is a providing safe drinking water, which we already do. And I think that's about it for the moment. Tomorrow there'll be more.
Thank you.
And then we are going to be talking about the resolution.
Which is the next thing, the resolution that we would propose on special education funding
Yeah, Dick and Randy and I met on that.
So, anything you want to comment on before we?
No, I don't think, you've all had an opportunity to read it, and the high point we're hitting here, which is also something that rural schools are hitting, WASB is hitting, Federated Coalition is, that special education funding. It's critical to our budget as it is to every school. So I think this is something that will get some traction in the state legislature. And our plan is to send this to everybody we can think of, all those different groups, plus Representative Kitchens.
Plus the chairman of the education committee.
Pardon me?
Plus the chairman of the education committee.
Representative Kitchens,
Yes.
yes. And Senator Jacques. And I would also suggest Speaker Voss receive a copy of it. And I will certainly mention it to people on the CISA board with me who are from Gibraltar and Southern Door, if they are interested in that too. I think if we can flood people with this, the more the better.
So is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2425010, special education fund 2025.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for your work on that. Start College Now apps.
Thank you. So every year in March 1st and October 1st, we bring to the board our Start College Now and Early College Credit applications. In your board packet, you will see the 14 students with the classes that they are seeking for the fall. And I apologize, it's fall of 2025, not fall of 2026. we don't need the years to go faster than what they already are. The numbers are very comparable to the numbers that we have historically for those students, juniors and seniors, that are taking post-secondary classes either in a 2-year, that's the Start College Now, 4-year is early college credit.
So is that the cost for the course?
Yeah,
Okay, not per credit?
correct.
Okay.
Cost per the course. So it's a discounted cost that the district picks up and offsets parents' expenses in the future.
Is there a motion on
I would move to approve the Start College Now application as presented.
Second.
questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Then our school photographer is retired.
So I want to first take a moment to acknowledge and thank Matt Ortherberg for his outstanding service as our district photographer over the last several decades. His dedication and exceptional work has captured countless memories for our students, staff, and families, and we are deeply grateful for his contribution to Sevastopol. That being said, we need to find a new photographer for the fall of 2025. So in your board packet, I've drafted a proposed RFP. I just want to highlight a couple of pieces that were in yellow. Some of the things we are seeking but aren't absolutely mandatory in the proposals is the ability to provide digital footprints for our students and our staff, the ability to order online. Obviously, retaking is an important component, working with our staff to establish the calendar. We do have inside of here, if possible, to capture individual, group, and specific event photos. So if there's an opportunity for the photographer to be on site, if they have sporting events or activities that they could capture the photos, we have that built into the RFP to see where that comes. My intention would be pending board approval tonight for the RFP. We'd get it posted up on the website. We'd send it to some of the local vendors that have reached out to us, and then give the turnaround of April 30th, and then bring it to the board for the decision in May, so that we would have our photographer in place for transition of July 1.
So is there a
I'll make
motion
a-
to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the RFP as presented.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Then we have a bid for the refinishing of the gym floors.
So-
Light systems.
Yep, you have two bids in front of you. You have a new bid from Pike System, and then you have the historical bid from the company that we have used in the past. The maintenance department is recommending, and the athletic department is recommending that we go with the new bid of Pike System. The bid is a little bit less dollar amount, but it also gives us the opportunity to re-sand the floors mid-year so that they aren't slippery. I can't remember what the name is that he calls it. But our current floor system doesn't allow us to do that, and after a lot of play, mid-year, we get complaints that the gym floor is slippery. So we'd like to try the new vendor. It comes in at a lower cost, and it allows us to varnish the floors mid-year.
And they think we can still do that on this floor up here, on the 65 gym?
Yep. So they were out and gave us a bid.
To a point where you
How long the gym floors last?
They're just taking off the,
This-
they're taking the poly off, they've got painted lines and everything underneath. So,
This is
In
just the top
2019-20, the gym, the floors were stripped down, blue lines, new everything. And now I guess they do this every year to just maintain it. So, is there a motion on that?
It's not saying to do it all.
And the new quotes for both gyms, right?
Yep, both gyms.
So it's like 2,400?
So-
Oh, wait, okay. Also got the different numbers. Never mind.
These are the two quotes. So Pike Systems total is $78.13,
Yep, sorry.
and Rico Wood Floors total is $85. Yeah.
Move to approve the price quote to redo the gym floors from Height Systems for a total of $7,813.44.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then we have a 10-passenger van.
So as you are aware, we actually were able to save resources this year and go from 8 bus routes to 7 bus routes. In doing that, that saves the district an estimated $60,000 a year. As we look at our replacement of our fleet and where we are and having conversations with our buildings and grounds group where our bus fleet is and the age, we are able to push a purchase of a bus out rather than we've typically been purchasing a bus a year. We can push that out and not replace, but add a van to our fleet. We did a 10-passenger van this year as kind of a trial run to see how it works. It works very, very well. And with 2 of them, many of our sports teams will be able to travel in 10-passenger vans rather than a bus, which again creates efficiency in a bus driver, which is really hard to find, and then fuel costs ultimately. So with that, we have it built into the proposed budget for 25-26. It is on a 7 to 10 month wait period to get the order in. That's the reason we're bringing it to you tonight to get on the docket for order. It is coming in, if you look at the back side of the page, it is coming in slightly higher than what it was last year, but it's still, the van is $80,000 and the new bus is estimated at $140,000. So it gives us a little flexibility in our 25-26 budget and serves our needs better.
So is the upfitting option, is that for public transportation, some kind of public specifications for public transportation? I mean, it's a $16,000 option here, I'm just wondering.
I believe it's adding the seat to get to the 10 rows to allow it to be the 10-passenger van, but I'd have to check with Dan.
Otherwise it would probably be an empty transit van.
Right.
Okay, to make it to a passenger van.
We did talk about this a lot at
Yeah.
our last meeting, so I move to approve the 10-passenger van for 2025-26.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That concludes our regular business. Take a motion to move to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Sue.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried at 6:48 PM.
Make a motion that Craig Carrier,
We're good.
make a motion that Craig Carrier be hired as the chemistry, physics,
Second.
physical science instructor.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Head soccer coach,
I would move to
girls soccer.
Chris Radel as the high school girls varsity soccer coach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Girls high school assistant soccer coach.
Move to hire Eric Schrader as the high school varsity girls soccer assistant coach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. JV softball coach.
Move to approve Dana Warren as the JV softball head coach.
Is there a second on Dana?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Middle school track co-head coach.
Move to approve Alec Bath as middle school track co-head coach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then the JV baseball head coach.
Move to approve the hiring of Nathan Leclerc as high school JV head baseball coach.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a finance meeting, that's the board as a whole, on April 2nd. We have the regular meeting on April 16th and the school board workshop on April 30th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried at 6:57 PM.